It's the Elektron Syntakt, Day 2.
Freebie.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to Freebeat, where I post new music-related content every single day, so if that sounds good to you, hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell. Today's patron shout-out goes to Dr. Druidge. Thank you so very much for the support. Let's get started. So today we are once again back at the Elektron Syntakt for day number 2 of exploring this 12-track groovebox. Once again, I do have this on loan from Zounds.com, so shout out to them. Thanks to them, of course, I was able to take a look at the Syntakt, which a lot of you have been asking me to do. Additionally, that does mean that I will have to send it back at some point, so I'm trying to squeeze in as much as I can and play with it as often as possible. So day 1, we just kind of went in blind, and I didn't really look anything up. For day 2, though, I want to play around with the effects block. So what the effects block is basically a combination of filter, amp envelope, and LFO that can act as an insert effect for any of our 12 tracks, in addition to the parameters of those 12 tracks, including the delay and reverb sends. In addition to that, you can actually sequence the effects track, which is really neat. So today I'm going to attempt to make sort of a sidechain effect, which I think it should be fairly simple to do. So I'm going to pop out of the effects track. Let's go to our analog kick here. And just for fun, let's go ahead and maybe explore a different kick drum. We have quite a few analog kick drum machines here. We've got hard, classic, FM, plastic, silky, sharp, and that's it. Let's go with silky. Seems nice and simple. Yeah, sounds good. I'm going to go ahead and sequence that 4 on the floor. There we go. We've all been here before, right? So now I want to, I think, go to a chord track, which on an initialized project, that's what this is here, track number 6 seems to be one. So let's go ahead and just put that on step 1. And real quick, I'm going to go ahead and make this pattern here 4 measures long. So we can actually have a couple different chord changes. So I'm going to put a chord on, there we go, the first step of each measure. Let's go ahead and pick our chord now. All right, so we're on C major. Let's actually change that to C minor. Okay, now we'll go to our second measure, and let's change this to a B flat or A sharp. And we will go ahead and make this one major. There we go. Okay. And you know what? We're just going to leave it there at 32 steps. So 2 measures long. So you might think, well, that's going to be pretty hard to demonstrate or to try to come up with a sidechain effect on. And yeah, you'd be right. We need to extend the length. So we're going to go to trigger. We're going to hold this down, and then we are going to increase the length. And I'm just going to go just under max. There we go. Now we'll go to our second measure and do the same thing. There we go. So now we have those chords sustaining throughout, and it should be a little bit easier to hear that pumping effect that we're going to go for. So how we're going to do this is by going into the effects track and then going into our amp envelope and basically drawing out or drawing an envelope that'll duck the first note whenever it's triggered, and then we're going to drop the triggers 4 on the floor on the effects track. But before we do that, we need to tell the Syntakt which tracks we want to actually be affected by the effects track. So I'm going to hold function and press FX, which actually takes us to routing. So right now the track that we are using for our chords is on track 6. So we want to make sure that track 6 is selected, okay? Also, something of note here at the bottom, these last 3 buttons, you can actually use them to send both the delay and the reverb to the effects track, which is really cool. Also, your incoming audio. So yes, this can be an analog effects box for your incoming audio, which is really cool. But for the purposes of this video and just playing around with it, I'm just going to have track 6 selected there. Okay, so now we need to hit effects again, because now we're actually going to sequence that triggered envelope and we're going to put it on all of our downbeats because that's where we want that sidechain effect to take effect. Remember, we do have 2 measures there, so if you're working along, make sure you get both of your measures. Now we need to press the amp button to go to the amp envelope of the effects track. By the way, you can see on the screen whether you have the effects track on or not. It tells you your active track. So if I turn this off, we're on track 6. If I turn it on, effects track. Beautiful. So now we're going to use the 4 knobs here to draw in our ducking effect. For this, I recommend hitting play so you can actually hear what's being affected, and then draw. We want a really sharp attack, so we want this to be down. And then we want it to quickly come back up with our decay. If it doesn't sound like anything, well, we probably need to increase the depth. There we go. Hear that ducking coming in? Yeah. Okay, so that's actually pretty cool. I like that quite a bit. We can send another instrument there if we want. Of course, first we have to come up with another instrument, though. So let's go down to our analog track here. We'll go the default for number 11, which is this awesome sound. Okay, that's fine. Make sure to turn off your effects track, by the way. Now we're on track 11. I'm going to turn on write mode or edit mode, whatever they call it. And I'm just going to put a pair of 2 eighth notes on here, and I'll show you why in just a second. I'm going to make sure that the copy feature works the same as on the model cycles. So let's go to trigger here. These are both C5. I want this one to be C4. There we go. And this one is still C5. Perfect. So now I want to copy these 2 notes and basically paste them in to fill out the rest of the 8 notes for the pattern. So I'm going to hold down my trigger that I want to copy and then press copy. Yep, copy trigger 1. Cool. It's going to go right here. Hold down the step that I want to paste it to, press stop to paste it. Nice. And on steps 9 and 13 as well. Now I'm going to hold down step 3, copy that, and once again paste it. Cool. Now I'm going to go to page 2. Going to do another pair of eighth notes here. If you remember, this chord was a B flat, so I'm going to go all the way down to B flat, I guess technically 3, or A sharp 3, and then this will be A sharp 4. Then I'm once again going to hold the trigger I want to copy it, paste it on the downbeats, take my A sharp that's an octave up, paste it on all of the eighth notes. Sounds great. However, we want to use that sidechain effect on this bass as well. Now, the cool thing here is we don't actually have to go through and repeat all of those steps. We simply hold function and press effects to go back to the routing. And now we know we're on track 11. We just want that to be affected by the effects block as well. Take a listen. Don't forget, you can always go right back to the amp section here, and we do have a second page for that, by the way, too, but you can always go right back to the amp section and play around with it again. Nice. Let's go ahead and send our delay and reverb to it as well. I haven't done this yet. I don't know what it's going to sound like. Probably nothing, because we don't have anything sent to those yet. So let's actually pop out of the effects section here. Out of write mode. Let's pick a snare drum. We'll go with the digital snare drum, sure. Beats 2 and 4 on both patterns. Okay, let's go to the amp envelope, the amp section, which also has our effects sense for that snare drum. Let's send both the reverb, or send it to both reverb and delay. Okay, so what I think is going on is the effects themselves are being ducked too. So what I want to do now is actually make the effects pretty extreme so I can actually hear them being affected by that sidechain. So I'm going to, or I just held shift and pressed filter to get to the proper delay section, which I'm going to increase the time big time. And I'll do the same for reverb. So function, if you look right under amp, it says reverb. We can do that. We'll just increase the decay by a lot. Okay, I'm going to go back to delay and bring down the time just a bit. Turn on ping pong. Sure, why not? Turn up feedback. I'm now realizing that I should have turned up feedback instead of time. Okay, well that got crazy. There we go. Okay, let's go back to our effects section here, and back into the amp envelope, and let's increase that depth and see what happens. Just as I suspected, the effects themselves are being ducked by that sidechain effect. So there you go. Don't forget you can do that with incoming audio as well. To do that, again, function effects to get to your routing, and then just send the incoming audio to the effects block as well. On the effects block, we also do have drive, as well as a filter. And that comes complete with its own envelope as well that respects the triggers down here, and you also have 2 LFOs too, so we will probably get into that in the future as well. It's a pretty impressive feature, honestly. I can't wait to play more with it. I didn't really mean for this video to turn into a almost semi-tutorial, but it was probably pretty long-winded. I'm sure there's better ones out there, but yeah, Syntakt Day 2, I quite enjoyed myself. I hope you enjoyed yourselves as well, as do I hope that you found this video informative or at least entertaining. If you did, be sure to leave a like on it. If not, you can always leave a dislike. Doesn't hurt my feelings, just makes me try that much harder next time. Either way, be sure to hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell. Thank you all so very much for being here. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.